I don't know why this is taking so long to connect. But earlier, all I need to do is just be on a game and it'll connect me with no issue. But then whenever I'm streaming, and I'm streaming without a game, all of a sudden it doesn't want to really connect me to the stream. It's strange. And now it says that I'm offline. Well, I'm looking up here and it's telling me that I'm connected. Leave page, go back. Let me see what's going on here. Now it finally says I'm live. Alright, now I'm going to give myself a little audio test to see if everything is working. Finally says I'm live. Please mute myself. I'm going to give myself a little audio. Jeez, not even a mute button wants to properly work. YouTube, seriously, fix your things. This is horrible. It's not like it really matters anyway, because I barely do streaming on YouTube as much as I do, or supposed to. But like, one of the main reasons why I've been avoiding YouTube a lot is because of the whole banning aspect and their oversensitivity to words that are being said. Full grown people want things to be told to them nicely instead of accepting things as they are. If the truth hurts you that much, then kill yourself. That's the only alternative you can find yourself doing, killing yourself. Just off yourself right off the face of the planet. But anyway, my name is Sabie. It's been nice coming back to you guys. I said I was going to come back last night, but I got sleepy, so I don't know. I could only do the best I could. And my body can only take so much until I get sleepy. And then sometimes whenever I'm gaming with other people, they bore me to death. I wanted to start a topic of conversation about this matter, though. I see a lot of you black women claiming that you want men to cater to your every need. And that you want things to be given to you and handed to you off a silver platter. And we got these weird Latino or Latina, whatever the hell you call them, women who want to blend in with black women to join this crusade to want to get things handed to them just as much as things are handed to the men that are doing the hard work and earning it. And so you want things to be handed to you in equal fashion while you're not doing that work. That's impossible. And it's not going to happen, but maybe in your dreams it will. And if you feel the need to want to rebel against us about it, we would love to see you try. You're going to lose this fight. You're not going to be physically infect someone and threaten someone who is way more powerful than you in every aspect. That you demand more. You see, you simps have given these women the mindset that they can get everything handed to them just so as long as they ask for it or demand it. They don't even ask for it. They just pretty much demand it, believing that they have some form of mysterious phantom powers where they can command you to do their bidding. And you're just going to simply follow because of what these dudes are doing. Until they get a rude awakening and wonder why they're not getting things handed off to them. Well, I mean, there's a reason why the American Revolution happened by the hands of men and not by you women. That should already be enough to tell you. Especially you should understand the fact that whenever all of us men stop working all simultaneously, all together, just walk the hell out of business institutions, nothing will get done. Even if women were there on the job also learning and looking and reading from blueprints of what to do, they wouldn't know what to do. This is not their forte. It would be cute to watch you attempt to do the same thing we're doing, only for you to almost slipped up, mess around and get yourselves hurt, lose a ligament, or possibly ask for help whenever you get lost and confused about something. I find this interesting that you're going to be at high demand for something. You claim you have standards about a certain something, and we look around at your actions and they say otherwise. We see the things that you'd rather do on your off time, just so you can get people to give you free things. And someone else will have to remind you, who is outside of the knowledge of who you are and what you're about, will have to remind you that this is not normal, and don't expect what you desire just because you have a vagina. I want to bring up a couple points right quick. Black women, you've mentioned that black men need to get their things together, and they're not anything to you. If they're not, then why are you demanding us to give you more of our attention? Why are you going out of your way to make sure we acknowledge the fact that you exist? But you said you want us to get our things together. You want us to improve. That starts with you. You are supposed to be what you want to see. But because we don't see that coming from you is the main reason why you don't get to see the change you want. If the number one killer in the black societies is obesity, why are you looking for such a degree of men to be cocky, buff, muscular build, and you're just this flab that looks like a tub of lard on a table? If this doesn't bother you by now, then I'm sure there's nothing I could say that'll make you better. And furthermore, your standards and demands of black men are so high to the point where these men are losing interest in you and marrying other nationalities of women, and they're justified in doing so. And I'm up in arms, and more power to these dudes for doing it. Leave Americanized women alone and proceed to marry women overseas. Don't look at the girls here. I don't know what they are. They are not girls. They are definitely not women. And by far the most funniest aspect I get from whenever I'm talking to these maggots here is that they have the nerve to call themselves ladies, not knowing the true and actual definition of a lady. A lady has a conversation with them, they'll say, "Oh, I'm not about that life. So why are you calling yourself lady?" There's only one definition that exists of a lady, and you're just not that type of person that meets the inquiry. And yet you had the audacity and the gall enough in your body to demand so much things from these men. And you simp men, you simp black men, I'm going to say this. You are at fault for allowing these girls to have the things they have right now. You gave it to them. Despite the power you have, you still gave your power to them. I would say some of the blame partially also go to white men as well. You simp white men giving them this position, but however, I'm talking about the blacks right now. These are the people who has to be corrected before the other ones will follow along. The moment we do good, everyone else will do good. Because we're doing terrible, everyone else is doing terrible. If you guys haven't seen the ripple effect, this is something that's pretty critical. This is something that everyone should understand, that unless some change is made within our community, everyone else is not going to succeed. Because right now, blacks, the majority of which are a virus in the Americas, both north and south, and everywhere else. And everywhere else, they are in the bottom of the totem pole. They're dragging people down with them with the crab in the barrel syndrome. They see other people trying to rise themselves up to the top, or at least somewhere close to the top, at least the neck. If you can't make the position of being the neck, and if you try to, they'll still grab you by your ankles and try to drag you down with them. That's the state of blacks right now, and that's why I stayed away from them. Anytime they ask me where am I and why I don't come along or come around anymore, or don't really say anything too much to them anymore, I don't care. I just don't. I don't stick around and talk to the likes of you, and you had the same opportunity I had to do the best you can to make yourself succeed, and take the skills you already have and make yourself better. Was so much ample time, and you decided to do nothing with this time. Wasting your time doing things that is nothing more than a mere distraction. Looking for entertainment instead of being that entertainment. That's why a lot of you are lonely. You don't find a hobby, you don't know what to do, and then whenever it's time for you to do something, you say you can't do it. And you never have exercised once in your life of how it would feel if you engaged into the activity. And you wonder why you're always on the bottom. Believe me, this truth hurts, and it's understandable that you want to flag videos like this down. Oh, believe me. I could go on, and this could be all day. This could be a 24-hour stream explaining you the multiple different times and occurrences and experiences I have gotten in dealing with a lot of you who just so happen to be all from one particular ethnic group. It comes from only one group. You don't want to get me started on the other groups. And then they say Black Lives Matter. From the people that do not care about blacks the most. And this particular group doesn't even have to involve men. It's all the women of this black group saying that Black Lives Matter, and black lives don't even matter to them or even their other sisters. They look at their own women in their own group and will try to deteriorate whatever she does to stop her from succeeding. All for the sake of that she does not rise above the degenerate level of who she used to be. Which then came to question me as if any of these, or if many of these blacks are God's chosen people or not. As much as they would like to claim themselves being Israelites, I see a lot of you that aren't. At worst, you could be Danites, a casted out clan that is no longer to be. Or Hamites, our arch enemy. After Leo Scipios Africanus took that land over and named it African or Africa. When that land at the very beginning of before it was called Africa was called Ham, the land of Ham, or Canaan, or Cush, Ethiopia. Ethiopia being the first people who were to attack the Israelites whenever they were in power. That's why they're cursed so bad with famine and starvation. If you read the Bible, you won't feel sorry for Ethiopians. You really wouldn't. Because they don't even feel sorry for themselves to help their own people. But they want everyone else to care for them. When Trump calls these countries pieces of shit, I strongly agree. And they want us to feel some form of empathy toward a people who's suffering. As if this people haven't put this suffering on themselves. For example, if a sign says keep out, why would I trespass and get offended whenever someone shoots at me? Which is why I'll make this example as well. Or not an example, it's just going to ask this question. If you want us to oppose him because of his immigration plan and how he would want things to be set up with a wall being around his country, why would you oppose a guy who wants to put Americans first instead of his own instead of people who is like outside of the country coming in and taking more funds from us and getting more benefits from us than us? That's my question to the people who is in disagreement with Trump or anyone that's like Trump. Hell, he doesn't even have to be Trump. It could be someone else that has that exact same idea. Which had been in the form of people who were not Trump, who I actually came into favor of. Hell, even I had that idea. Why are these people who are outside the borders getting more benefits than me? I've been here all my life. You know, what makes matters worse is that our women are sitting here demanding equal pay for not doing equal work. Then again, I'm already into this idea also that our women, the majority of which could possibly be cloned. Like a lot of them, their original form was killed and these brain dead drones were created to sit in our society and be nothing more than eunuchs. They're useless women. They don't have a purpose in life. I remember I had a stream in my Twitch asking a particular black woman that joined in and was joined in because apparently she wanted to hear me talk my shit. I said, what's her purpose in life? She didn't even know. Not only did she want me to know, she didn't know her own self. The most useless, worthless, the most unpurpose. I might be saying it wrong, but these people have no purpose in life. Other than the fact that they're distasteful, they're always vulgar, they're constantly showing their bodies to people who they would never marry. If everyone has access to look at your body parts as equally as much as I do, then you are no way, shape, or form, I thought it was my acid reflux acting up again. But anyway. So you should be in no way, shape, or form should be in any position to demand these men to treat you with some form of respect when you treat yourself just like that. You won't spend not 1 minute in your life to become a modest woman. If you go into that Bible will roast you till the cows come home. No way in any time, whenever you pick up that book, which is the Bible, read any of these scriptures, and it applies whores with the righteous. It just doesn't. Then whenever it disagrees with their lifestyle, they got a nerve to say, oh, I don't believe in it anyway. Okay, if you don't believe in it, why do you say, oh my God, when you're in trouble? Lord have mercy. Lord Jesus, God help me. Or worse, they'll say, I'm a Satanist. Well, you do realize the person you're worshiping worships the Almighty, right? And you know who the Almighty is. So if you don't believe in this Almighty and you believe in the creation that He made that exists as a test to see how strong your faith is, that already shows us where their current standing is as black women. I just want to point out a little something that should be obvious to you men, if it hasn't been for the longest time, of you being alive as long as you have. I mean, they are most of which who are satanic. I mean, it's not every day you chose to disagree with what your Heavenly Father told you. And let me remind you that Eve was well aware of what was told to Adam, too, in the scripture. She said, and I quote, and also, she even rehashed what the Heavenly Father said in the Bible. Eat of the tree of good and evil, ye shall surely die. She repeated after the words of what was said to Adam, meaning it was an order for her to follow too. But she chose Satan to listen to above all else. That was who the serpent was in the scriptures. In the book of Genesis, it's right there. You don't need to go too far to look and read that. Women, you got a black women, you have a huge background history of your disobedience. And you were plagued with a curse, or actually more than, I say, at least 20 curses because of your disobedience. And let's say, for example, all right, so you think God doesn't exist and that's the type of life you live. All right, so if this God doesn't exist, you have to take responsibility for all the irresponsible activities you were doing your entire life, which also means that we're not going to give you shit for free. This It's what you put on yourself. If you would like to believe this God doesn't exist, all right, now you got to take responsibility for all what you've done. And you got to do that yourself. You got nobody's help. Don't say you're blessed either, because remember, like just like you said, this God doesn't exist. And black women love doing some vulgar, disgusting, the most profane activities ever. That's the reason why I named my stream this. What happens when black men lose all interest? That's the second thing I wanted to talk about. It's funny because I named my title that as if it was the header, but this is actually the second of the topics I want to address. The moment when black men lose all interest in you, I want you black women to understand this. Nobody else will. We are literally all you got. And I'm not pigeonholing you anywhere. I'm just simply letting you know. I mean, you want us to hate you that bad? I'm going to let you know the consequences of what you are trying to push. If you want us to hate you that bad, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and let you have that. You've done a job well done. Now we all despise you. What then? Because everyone else is already treating you like absolute garbage. You see the ghetto gagging movies and videos that black women are into. You know, the porn outlets. The way that they portray themselves on TV. Even with having a lot of money, which is the reason why they have a lot of money, is because their men are the ones that's doing the hard work in the beginning. But the women aren't. they have no worth. You don't even worth a cent. You don't have net worth. You're not $5. You're not 5 cents. Not even 1 cent. You're absolutely free. There's no worth in you. Which is shamefully obvious to us now that everyone... I just want to point out a little something too before I end up forgetting about this. But this Lizzo creature that people want to pretty much blow up in social media, she's getting the exact attention that she wants. And because she's getting this attention, she entitled herself to believe that she is the greatest or the aspiring greatest of all time. Or aspiring GOAT. She's not. When there are no simps around to give women free things, where would people like Lizzo be? And what would they be doing? If your foremothers didn't need to do the activities that you women are doing right now and they were still getting married, why are you thinking that doing this activity is going to get you married when it's actually turning men away? And if you are or were married, I have 2 answers for that, and very critical ones too. Let's get to the first one. Whenever you are married to a man, you're eventually going to lose that man. Or that man is with you because he's a simp until he wakes up to the idea that you're using him, and he is limiting himself by not becoming anywhere better, anyone better than who he is, who he's programmed to show, because of the existence of this woman in his life. Men in their biological construct want to be stronger and better and want to improve. If you hold a man against his biological construct, he's going to leave you. That is to every female alive. I want you to understand this. This is not difficult. If you want to know the reason why a man will cheat on you, look at what you've done. You've kept him contained and imprisoned and stopped him from doing what makes him a man. And I don't feel sorry for a single one of you. You deserved it. Men, don't let any of these women shame you into loving them like black women do. No, especially you black men. Don't ever let that happen. You are bound for so much more, to do so much more, to become so much more. But you're being told that you aren't shit. No matter what you do, no matter where you go, no matter who you become. Sit here and lie to your face and tell you that you mean the world to her. All while watching you wither and die. And find herself justified in either leaving you to be with someone who is worse than you. Or my personal all-time favorite, her failed and false conflicted idea and mindset of how she supports sisterhood, and this is the best way she can come to the support of her so-called sisterhood, becoming a lesbian. Then she realizes later on down the line that this isn't what her biological construct, her makeup, makes her out to be. So she goes from a lesbian to a full-on hetero. Just think of that one and let that one marinate. And if you guys are watching this right now, feel free to share and like and subscribe if you want to. Share this to your friends, your family, your co-workers, to anybody. Somebody needs to get a heads up of things like this, especially in our communities. Boy, we need the help. We haven't had an upstanding, masculine, individual male in our community for a very long time. And this has been a long time coming. This is the change that we need. The only change we need. The best way for us to have ourselves any form of order is to look at the order that we were established with from the very beginning and apply that order to right now. Because our new methods aren't working. If everything you're trying in this world is not working for you, not to your benefit, and you go into the scriptures, you start following it to a T, and all of a sudden you get hit with all forms of good fortune, good blessings, whatever you call it, good karma, I don't know. Whatever you prefer to call it. I think you have an explanation to give me. I'm going to stop right here. It's at the 35-minute mark, and I wanted to keep it this short, not to ramble on. My name is Sabie. I'll catch you guys later. Roll that outro.